Welcome back, everybody. Sometimes you have plans, you have goals, and you just can't meet them. And you're not really sure why. You're just frozen. You're not really moving, trying to figure out why. You're stuck. And for that, you need to call upon some help. So we've got her here, and this, I believe, is something that many of us deal with. She is a certified life coach, TEDx speaker. She has so much under her belt, EFT practitioner, and so much more. Michelle Mehta joins us once again here on the program. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk about this topic today. So tell me a little bit more about this topic, Steve. How did you come up with it?
So I'm in a men's group, and we're very masked down in the group. And one of the men is dealing with a challenge right now. He's uh, a leadership facilitator, if you will. He's part of an organization. He pays to be part of it. As part of that, they allow you to throw an event where you can potentially get more business, get yourself out there, use their tools, but you have to use it in a certain amount of time, or you've just wasted your money, or at least a part of it, part of the membership. He's planning to put on an event in November, medium size, and then a larger one in January, and then it expires the time that he can use the tools. We talked about it last night. He's nowhere with it, and it's not that he's lazy. He just hasn't pulled the trigger. Like we're like, dude, it's November, it's September. Uh, you got to promote it. You got so much going on. You got to cater to all that. Do you have a venue? Well, I might. I think I got to make the phone call. He might give it to me at a reduced rate. I'm like, what are you waiting for? He's been talking about this for like 3 weeks now. And then we finally just, I don't want to say we cornered him, but we was like, all right, you're getting the attention. And we said, what is holding you back? What is it? And he said, I don't know. He said, maybe it's a fear of failure. Maybe it's a fear of success. He feels like everything is all jumbled in his head, and he has just not pulled the trigger on getting this thing booked and promoting it and setting it all up. Um, we worked with him, but we still weren't able to identify what it was, what's holding him back. Deeper dive needed, of course. Qualified trained professional, like over here. But what's your initial thoughts on his situation?
Well, number one, I mean, there are two real fears, right? We have the fear of failure and then the fear of success. The fear of failure is if I try something, what if it doesn't go as planned, right? And then the fear of success is if I become too successful, then what's going to happen? And both of these are real, especially when you're trying out something brand spanking new. It is out of your comfort zone. You've never done this before. It is your first time ever doing something. You're going to have that conflict. So the conflict is very much real. When you have a fear of
Mm,
failure, which is what we usually hear of the most, right? What if I fail? What if it doesn't go as planned? What if, what if, what if, what if? And the key is we get caught up in that cycle of perfectionism. I have to have the perfect structure, the perfect menu, the perfect plan, the
mm,
perfect
mm,
itinerary, the perfect, perfect, perfect. And one of my mentors tells me, the P for perfection is actually the P for poison.
mm,
It is a poison that you are tasting when you're running the perfection wheel. And I used to think everything had to be perfect until I started thinking it has to be good enough. Because there is that other phrase that you build the plane as you fly it, right? You're putting all the pieces together as you're building this plane, as you're flying it, as you're in motion. Because when you are in motion, that's when things start happening in your favor. Because then you start course correcting. But you're sitting on the sidelines trying to manifest this game that you've never played before. You don't know how many players you need. You don't know what type of ball you need. You don't know what type of bat you need, if you even need a bat, right? So thinking about it actually prevents you from moving forward, taking that step. It keeps you in that safe zone.
mm. You know, what I get there is it's better to be moving. And like you say, the plane is flying. You might have to turn the plane, you might have to dip down a little bit, but eventually you come back up. But do you want it just sitting in the hangar and not even flying? He paid for the plane, let's just say. In his situation, he paid to fly, and he's not in the air yet. He did say, and this could tie in with the success thing. He alluded to being stuck in a certain salary mode, and he feels like that's what maybe he deserves and maybe not more. And he said, "Yeah, certainly I'm having challenges and I will go down in salary because he does sessions with people. But then, I'll be back up again, to some point, but then back down again." But he did allude that it's just this one, sliced number that he kind of sits in all the time, but doesn't go above it. And he thinks, maybe there's a reason for that. What are your thoughts there?
Well, definitely there is a limiting belief right there, right? That is a limiting belief. A limiting belief is where you create a belief system and you basically pigeonhole yourself in that. You put yourself in that zone, you put yourself in that box. And there is that, what if I reach that next level? And that's where the fear of success comes in that, oh my God, if this event goes as planned and all my ducks are in a row and it actually takes off, what's my next step? And there's a book called The Big Leap by Gary Hendricks, I believe is his name. And he talks about the self-sabotage that we do. We have the perfect relationship, and then what if we kill it? We have the perfect thing, what if we mess it up? And it's that mindset that we play. It's a mind game that we play. And that's what's been happening is that when it comes to fear of success, is that if I get too successful, will I have the same amount of friends? If I get too successful, will I still be doing the same thing? If I get too successful, will my partner leave me? If I get too successful, this, that, and the other, what if this happens, that happens? And everything that you built on falls apart
Yep.
because we hear about divorces failing. We hear about marriages failing. We hear about things that are not happening. And we hear about that in the news. The news always talks about the things that are not working, not necessarily the things that are working. And so that's our
Mhm.
mindset. That's as a society, that's how we've been programmed. And that kind of came to fruition for me when we were talking about the pandemic and when COVID was initially starting, the fear that was created around that. And so that's what every news anchor was talking about, right? And so I started making a decision of, okay, this is one aspect of it. What is the other aspect of it? And because it's all about happy and joy, they don't want to tap on that. They want to tap about that fear. It's always about the robberies and the car crashes and the things that are not working in society, the bad things. That's what makes news. But at the end of the day, your news is how you show up. And the fact is, he just has to have that trust factor, which comes into the second belief system is how well do you trust yourself? How well do you trust the information that's given to you? How well do you trust the program? How well do you trust your friends? How well do you trust your society? How well do you trust the people around you? Because sometimes having that disconnect, that lack of love and respect for the things that are involved, it can also create that fear.
Well, I did leave out one little piece in his story. And I will say that he shared with us that he's got some stuff going on, financially that we didn't know about, some challenges, but we'll put that over the side. He presents so well. You look at him right away, you trust him. Like he looks like he could be a male model. Like he's just got it all together. Really not the case, but face value, we look at him like you are a superstar. You are not getting what you have right in front of you. And we wouldn't be saying it unless it wasn't true. You don't realize what it is. Um, but I believe, and here's the other thing too. I said to him, if it's not a fear of success, what are you worried about? Why have you scheduled this event or these events? Are you afraid nobody's going to show up? No, I'm pretty sure. Well, I'll have a good turnout. Even my current clients will bring other clients in, and it should be good. Okay. What's the block? Well, I'm not really sure. I mean, he seems like he's in a tornado and he's spinning
Right.
around and he's just going around. He's not going, getting out of the tornado. That's what it seems like. But I feel like I'm at the point, and those are all the pieces to the puzzle. I don't know. I don't even know how don't know how to direct him. I
Yeah, and
what
I
would you
think
tell him?
there's a lot in that, right? It's just not only is it the belief system, but it's like, it's something that he has the confidence. It's not like he can't have it, but there is something in the way. And that could be a generational statement. He maybe it's the first time he's ever done this before.
Mm,
Maybe nobody
yeah,
in his family's ever done this before. Maybe he
sure.
doesn't know how well it's actually going to go. I mean, obviously he is running a successful business, but sometimes there's that self-doubt of, am I really doing the right thing? Am I really meant to be doing this work? Am
Yes.
I
Okay. You're right. And I said, I'm going to say it. You think you have imposter syndrome? And he said, no. And he said, I actually have an ego. Like I'm very ego driven. I don't know if that for him at this juncture, if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So it's not adding up for me to try and figure it out. I do believe that he has challenges with um, processing all the pieces that need to come together. Like there's so much to be done that you don't do it any of it. Does that make sense?
there is a sense of overwhelm. There's
Yes.
definitely a sense of overwhelm. Oh my God, there's so many things to do. I don't know if I have the right bandwidth, the right time, the right mindset, the right people in place. And imposter syndrome kind of goes hand in hand with ego, because our ego that we've talked about in our previous episode is about, everyone's greatest obstacle or edging God out. So an ego comes into play where it becomes an obstacle because it keeps you in the safe zone. Rather just pretend to be busy. Let's not tackle the thing that needs to be done because it's not that important. I still got 2 months ahead of me at this point. I still got a couple months ahead of me. It just will magically come together. I have enough trust. I'm just going to manifest. It's going to come together. That's one way of looking at it. The other way is, how can I get motivated for the action? What baby step can I take right now to move me forward? And imposter syndrome is something similar. You've been doing this one thing your whole life. All of a sudden, you're getting a promotion in a job, or you're starting a new career, and it's a new title.
Sure.
And your ego self is saying, do I even belong here? Am I meant to be doing this work? Do I really got that belief? Will I actually be successful? What if I fail? And it goes through these systems. And that's why having a group of friends that are supporting you every step of the way, that are growing with you, expanding with you, will support you and letting you know that, hey, you know what? You're meant to do this work. You're meant to be in this company. You're meant to be having this position. And they're
Mhm.
the ones that motivate you, which is why your network, builds your net worth. And having that five group of people, the five people in that group manifest with you, grow along with you. Sometimes we outgrow relationships, and that also creates an imposter syndrome. Right? I've had friends, that were in college
Mm.
throughout my 20s that I no longer even connect with. And it's not because I don't like them. It's because I just outgrew them. My priorities took over. They then became parents, and they then became, all about the daycare and the school activities and that and the other. Right. And so they've started hanging out with mommy and parent groups versus people that are still single or don't have kids. So your group is always evolving. And if you're in that growth mindset of, how do I make this better? You're always going to find new people to support you along the way, because there's plenty to go around. It's how
Hmm.
well do you trust yourself to find the right people to support you?
Do you identify within yourself the people who you feel most comfortable with?
Yeah, ever since, I had a big, I had this theory in college. I don't know where this theory came from, but I created this theory in college that every semester I would lose 5 friends and gain 5 friends. Don't know how that happened. Don't know how that belief system came through. But every semester
Hmm.
I was like, these five group of people that I hang out with are not going to be there following semester. And sure enough, that would happen.
Did you
And
manifest that though? Did
I
you
did.
did you but did you okay, we're going to digress here for 5 seconds, but I wonder when you think those things, it becomes the reality because you
Yes.
manifested it. But it doesn't mean that you wanted it to be that way. You were just kind of thinking it. Then it became that way.
It just became that, and it became semester after semester after semester where I started following a pattern. And I realized that, you know, I
Uh,
became the 5 people became my closest friends because we were all ended up in a group project together. So when you're in a group project, you're spending all of your time figuring out this project. And so you spend that time. So then all of a sudden they become your new friends. The project before, the semester before, those friends have moved on, they've graduated, they're in a different major or a different class. So obviously that connection got lost. So it just became the facts of life. But then I started realizing that I'm the type of person that will continue to keep growing. And the way I keep growing is A, by new friends, by figuring out, by joining networking groups. And I remember in August of 2019, one of my mentors at that time was like, why don't you join this networking group? They're looking for speakers. It'd be great for you to join.
Mm.
And Steve, I go in there not knowing anybody. And I just went in there and I found five people in that group. And those five people are my friends today that have shaped my life as I became a coach. And they're the ones that taught me that coaching and speaking go hand in hand. And you can become a speaker and a coach, and you can make income on both sides. And that was a game changer.
Wow.
And 5 years later, these five people are still in my life.
Wow. Were you the opposite of that? It was uncomfortable for you to walk into a group you don't know anybody, you know. Now, do you look at it as I can't wait to walk into a room where I don't know anybody because it's a whole new opportunity?
It's a whole new opportunity. And the best part was that I used to look up to these people. And I used to think myself as someone at, learning, like, basically in preschool. And these were like fifth graders knowing everything that they walk the campus, they rule the campus.
Mm.
And now we are all, in high school doing the same thing, learning the same way. So it was so interesting how my mindset was just, oh, I just a newbie, don't know anything, have no idea where my direction is, didn't even know that speakers and coaches can be together, didn't know that you could get paid to be a speaker, even as a coach. So all of this was a new shift. And then working with these people, becoming friends with them, now they reach out to me for advice and say, hey, Michelle, I have this problem. How do you think I should go about it? And so now we're all on the same level. And Steve, they're not my age. They're in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And
Hmm.
I was in my 30s at that time. So it's really interesting how, the life throws curveballs at you. I used to hang out in college and it was all my same age group. We were all in our 20s together. And as I grew older, my mindset started shifting and started gravitating toward people that were a lot older, had more experience. And I saw it as an opportunity to learn from their mistakes, learn so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, learn so that you can expand your horizon and learn about what the fear of failure is, what the fear of success is, and navigate that into my real life. And I'm not the same person that I was 5 years ago.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
I'm not the same person I was like 6 months ago because of the way that our mind shifts. And every single day, if you're in that growth mindset, opportunities will come to you. So tell your
Mm.
beautiful friend and say, you know what? He's right where he needs to be. He's in this twister for a moment. It is not the final destination. He's in this twister because all new information to him. He doesn't know how to focus on one thing. Tell him what is the one itsy bitsy teeny tiny step that he can take. What is the one thing that will move the needle forward? And he will figure it out. If he
Mm.
needs to lock in a location, tell him, hold him accountable. By when will you lock in that, call in that location? If it's the thing I need to send out invites, have you designed your invites? What is the one thing that you need to do to design the invites? Who are you going to invite? Make a list. It starts with that. And that's what I did yesterday at night. Last night, actually, I went to bed early. I got up in the middle of the night because I had this idea. And I was like, you know what? I've never shared my presentation on social media about the time when I spoke at the US Air Force Academy. And I figured out a way to snip this video and I uploaded it for the first time. This Air Force Academy had happened a couple years ago, but I never decided to promote it, never thought I needed to promote it. And I did that. And that was my way of saying, look, you know what? You've never seen me speak on stage. Here's my opportunity to show you that I can speak on stage. And it was just for me to reinvent the information to let people know that intrinsic value relies on you. You have the value and you are worthy of it. And sometimes we forget when things are not working.
If we could do it, I would high five you and hug you for uploading that video. I feel the
Thank you.
excitement from you in
Yeah.
hearing that. And isn't it interesting? And by the way, side note, when you talk about, age of friends and things and people like that, as you said it, I started thinking, and the majority of people that, aside from like a few lifelong friends, they're like 12 years younger than me, at least, at least. they're all, and that's what works for me. I don't know why. I have no answers for you. The man
I
I'm
will tell
talking,
you why, because you have that growth mindset. And the best way to learn is when you're hanging out with the people from a different age group. Young people bring in this new energy,
new energy.
this new excitement, and it basically breaks you out of your comfort zone of the people that are experiencing a midlife crisis in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. So you're like, midlife crisis is one option, or reinventing myself is another option. So you choose to hang out with people that are 12 years younger than you. So you get to reinvent yourself and figure out new opportunities so the midlife crisis doesn't stop you.
And just what you said, I did reinvent myself, and I'm in the process of reinventing my business. I have a marketing company, so like as we speak, the wheels are turning. But if this was 5 years ago, and it's an ebb and flow.
Yeah,
Clients are there. Sometimes there's changes. It's not even about what you offer them. They make changes. Somebody in the company may retire. Whatever might happen. Um, I used to look at it 5 years ago like DEFCON 5, like, oh my God. Now it's like, all right, can't wait to get another one. That's going to be great. Can't wait. Going to be fun. It's exciting. But yes, your mind is always shifting. And this man is 12 years younger than me, give or take a
yeah,
year. And there's others that we were trying to help him, and they're successful. They're like half my age. He's had some things go on in his life. It's a personal tragedy that wasn't, just happened. Had some financial challenges, as we learned last night. I believe that baggage is on his back, and he's just trying to plod along, but he's carrying that. And I think he just needs to rip it off, take it off, because it's holding him
absolutely.
down.
And that's where your words of affirmation kicks in. We believe in you. We can help you. Let's
Mm,
call the person together, right? Create that mode of you're not alone because that weight could bring us backwards. I mean, sometimes a relationship, even if it's short term, 2, 3 months, could do so much healing for you, but it could also do so much harm as well. And it's having the right support system to navigate the harm versus the heal. Because the harm is going to bring us down and the heal is going to pull us forward. So having that ability to have that tough conversation, be vulnerable, be courageous, be authentic, have that meal, the 3-course meal that we talked about in another episode, right? Have the VAC filter on when you're navigating this because this is how it's going to move you forward into your goals. No one's going to know your goals better than you do. No
mm,
one's going to know your dreams better than you do. And it is so painful to see the graveyard, the cemetery filled with unfulfilled dreams. Let's not have another one of those,
mm,
especially with the mindset that we have going on today, right?
sure. And the awareness.
The
Um,
awareness.
Thank you for saying that. And as you just
You're most
did,
welcome.
I'm texting him,
Oh my
and
goodness.
I connected him with a friend who does what he does, has been through what he's trying to do. And she carved a brand out for herself. And I connected him like a week and change ago. I said, hey, can you talk to my friend? Blah, blah, blah. Right away. She's like, yeah, no problem. Put him in a group
Yeah.
text, said to him last night, did you call her? Well, we text. I'm like, so I'm texting right now. I said, you got this. And then I said, call and put her name in there. And there you go. So
Yeah, there you go. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's the best thing that we could do is having the right people without an ulterior motive of, I just want to see you succeed. And seeing you succeed is going to bring me so much ultimate joy because it's bringing you that ultimate happiness. And sometimes we forget those words. Sometimes we forget that support system. No one is out to get you unless you believe they're out to get you. People just want to help people. They want to feel that
Yeah.
need. I mean, that's why one of the love languages is called acts of service for that purpose.
Yeah. It's funny. I believe things happen for a reason. People are in your life for a reason. And this gentleman, a while back, wanted to write a book to help elevate what he's doing now. I told him, you might want to tap the brakes on a book until you get this other stuff hammered down. However, he was like, I'll bet the book is, I really want to do it. I said, get a ghostwriter. And then all of a sudden, light bulb download came in. I've done podcasts recently with somebody who publishes books, but here's the synergy. The man I'm referring to had a personal tragedy. the man who has the publishing company that helps people had this similar tragedy. And
Wow.
I said, this is the man for you. And he just wants to help. He doesn't even know you. And I'm going to connect you for that reason. It's just too coincidental. There is no coincidences. It
There is
just
no coincidence. And people come into our life for a season or a
a
lesson,
reason. Oh, I
right?
say a reason.
Reason,
A reason is a lesson. Uh,
reason, lesson, season. They come to our life for a purpose, and
sure.
you navigate that. I mean, that's how, Steve, I found you, right? I had no idea this company even existed, right? But just doing the same thing over and over again, just putting myself out there, the right opportunity came, and here we are. And I feel like you are my new best friend for 2024. The types of conversation that we've had. And, I wish I lived closer. I would have given you a hug right back at you.
I wish so too.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way. You are a breath of fresh air and
Thank you.
so inspirational. Like just feel good. No surprise that you would get to do a TEDx talk and more. Um, Thank you for today. Thank you for the insight. I hope it's inspired others based on my friend's situation. Um, we all go through it. We all go through it.
It is.
We get stuck. We all get stuck. We don't want to admit it, but it's also seeing the beauty and the synergy of things. Once you start seeing why life is bringing you these things in the pieces, it's like, whoa, that's like super cool. It's almost like you can't make it up. You
You
couldn't
can't
even
make it
write
up.
it. Yeah, it just shows up. Um,
Exactly.
how do we find you, Michelle? Somebody wants to connect, ask questions, maybe need some counseling, coaching.
Yeah,
How do they do that?
absolutely. Number one, you're not alone. Number two, fear of success and fear of failure is definitely real. So remember that. And when in doubt, reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram at I am Michelle Mehta. And that's IAMMICHELLEMEHTA. And my website is michellemehta.com. And that's also MICHELLEMEHTA.com. So feel free to reach out, feel free to connect, and know that you're not alone. That is my biggest blessing for you for this week.
I
Is
have to say, I don't think I've ever met or spoken to somebody with as much genuine positivity and passion to help people than you.
Oh, thank you so much. That means the world to me, Steve. Really does.
I mean it. You can feel it. I had to pick up the phone and text my friend. I mean, I didn't want to be rude while we're talking here, but it was like there's a reason, you're here with that inspiration that I needed to push that. And my gut says he's going to be okay. He just needs a little kick in the butt. A
And
lovingly
that's why
kick in the butt.
that's why the episode is dedicated to him today, to allow him to know that, hey, you know what? What he's going through is absolutely real. And this is what life is all about.
Yeah,
And many of us feel like we're stuck in four walls, but you're not. We have so much more technology here supporting us. We just have to use it the right way. And
yeah.
Steve, thank you so much for your vulnerability and thank you for having him in your heart so that we could share with him, our tactics and our support. Because,
Thank you.
my heart goes out to him. And please let me know how his event goes.
I will. All right, Michelle. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank
Okay.
you. Take care. Thank
You too.
you.
We'll be right back.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.